Bonjour, bonjour et bonjour et bienvenue ou re-bienvenue. Hello, hello, hello and welcome or welcome back. So today we'll be looking at forming the past tense in French. Okay? The past tense or the perfect tense rather is le passé composé. Le passé composé is the past tense in French, and we will be using the verb avoir as a helping verb to construct the passé composé. So let's get into this lesson, get excited, et on y va. Let's go. Okay, the first question we're going to ask ourselves is, what is the passé composé? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est le passé composé? What is the passé composé? The composed past tense. Let's look at it. Now, it is a composed tense in French. A composed tense in French, and it is used to express completed actions in the past. Okay, we can also call it the perfect tense. Okay, there's no going back to that action to redo it or to continue it. It is finished. I ate the mango, I washed the car. All right, it has a known start and a known end time. Okay, the action is complete. All right, now we said it is a composed tense. Why? Because it comprises of two verbs, the verb avoir, conjugated in the present tense, and the past participle of the second verb. Okay, so the passé composé, it's a composed tense because it uses two verbs to construct it. You use avoir, conjugated in the present tense, agreeing with the subject of the sentence, and then you're going to have the past participle. Now, what does this mean? Let's look at an example, okay? Alright, before we look at the example, we also can use être, which is the verb to be. Avoir is the verb to have. So we can also use être as a helping verb to construct the passé composé as well. We'll be looking at that in another lesson. For today, we're focusing on the verbs that use avoir. Okay, so let's get right into it. So for example, if we're looking at the sentence, I have changed, right? The sentence is I have changed or I changed. Okay, both of them are correct. We use both of them in English. All right, so right here we would have avoir conjugated in the present tense, and change represents what we call the past participle. Yes? Now let's see what that looks like in French. Okay? So you'd say, for the present tense of avoir, you'd say j'ai. Okay? For the present tense of avoir, you'd say j'ai. I have, j'ai. And then for the past participle, you'd say changer. J'ai changé. I have changed. J'ai, I have, one verb, that's the helping verb, and changer, changed. I have changed. J'ai changé. Alright? So let's look at how exactly we got j'ai changé. What are the rules in constructing it? And on y va. Okay, so we're looking at constructing the passé composé in French, right? And we just said that we can use either the verb avoir or être to form the passé composé. Point of information: the vast majority of verbs in French will use the helping verb avoir to construct the passé composé. Let me repeat that. The vast majority of verbs in French will use avoir to construct the passé composé, the past tense. Now remember, passé composé, it is a composed tense. Composed, like a composition. It comprises two verbs. The verb avoir in the present tense and the past participle of the second verb. Now, since we'll be conjugating avoir to be able to construct this tense, the past tense, the passé composé, we all have to be able to to conjugate the verb avoir. Makes sense, right? So that's the first thing we need to be able to do, and that is to conjugate the verb avoir correctly. And we'll be looking at that shortly. Alright? But before we do that, we're looking at constructing the Passé Composé. What is the past participle? How do we form the past participle of regular verbs? We're going to be looking at constructing the past participle of regular verbs in this lesson. We'll do another one on the past participles for irregular verbs, okay? So in the same way that when you're conjugating a regular verb, it follows a pattern. You have three verb families in French. You have the ER verbs, verbs ending in ER, verbs ending in IR, and verbs ending in RE, okay? And when the verb is regular, that means it follows a conjugation pattern. For verbs ending in ER, if the verb is regular, when you're conjugating it in the present tense, you drop the ER, add an E, ES, E, ONS, easy, and then ENT. Je, tu, il est long, nous, vous, il. Alright? The same thing applies, sort of, but not those endings. The same thing applies in terms of a structure, a pattern that you can follow. And that's why it's important for you to be able to identify which verbs are regular and which ones are irregular. It's very important, okay? So how do we form the past participle of regular verbs? Let's take it by verb family, alright? So let's look at an ER verb just now, okay? So ER verbs, like regarder. If the verb ends with an ER, you're going to drop the ER and you're going to add an E. You're going to drop the ER and you're going to add an E with the accent aigu. That's the accent going from left to right upwards. So what are we going to do here? We're going to drop this ER right here. Let's cross it out. And then we're going to add the E. And what would we get? We would get regarder. Regarder. Okay? So we dropped off the ER here and we got regarder. Once the verb is regular, you drop the ER like you would when you're conjugating the verb in the present tense, and then you simply add accent aigu, E with the accent going from left to right upwards. Alright? What about other verbs like IR verbs? Right? When you have a regular verb, a regular IR verb, a verb ending in IR, all you do here, same approach, you're going to drop the IR and you're going to add an I to the end of it. Okay, so we drop the IR here and réussir would become réussi. Okay, we drop the IR and we added the I, and that is the past participle for réussir. Same approach once the verb is regular. Alright, you drop the IR and you add an I. What about RE verbs? You're going to drop the RE and you're going to add a U. Alright? So, let's drop the RE. We're taking off the RE here and we get the stem VEND. Okay? And then we add the U and we get vendu. Okay? So, how do we form the past participle of regular verbs? For the verbs in the ER family, you drop the ER. You're going to drop the ER and you're going to add an E. For the verb regarder, verb in question, you're going to get regarder, pronounced the same way. Alright? For réussir, IR verbs, you drop the IR and you're going to add an I and you get réussir. Réussir. For RE verbs, drop the RE, left with the stem VEND, and you add an U, a U, and you get vendu. Vendu. Regardez, réussi, et vendu. Alright? Okay, let's move on to the next one and put this into practice. Yes? On y va. I think you're ready. So let's look at conjugating the verb avoir. So we have j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Okay, So it's j'ai, I have, tu as, you have, il a, elle a, on a, one has, nous avons, we have, vous avez, you have, ils ont, elles ont, they have. Alright? There are different songs that you can use to help you to remember how to conjugate this verb. Alright, but we're not going to be doing that in this lesson. So it's j'ai, tu as, es, ils, elles, ont, a, nous avons, vous avez, ils, elles, ont. So we know that avoir is an irregular verb. Okay? Let's continue. Let's put this into practice. So we're going to be conjugating the verb avoir for practice. Alright, let's go. So remember, the passé composé is a composed tense, and here we're going to be conjugating the verb avoir only. I'm going to give you the past participle for the verbs, right? But we're going to be conjugating the verb avoir for practice in the first blank space. Let's go. So it says here, Georges blank regardez la télévision hier. Now looking at regarder, I think we just did that one, right? We know based on the fact that the E with the accent is here, we know that regarder is an ER verb, regarder. Okay, even if we didn't know that regarder means to watch or to look at, when we see how the ER has been dropped and it has an E, well, once we see that the E is here, E with the accent aigu, we know that it's an ER verb. Okay? Georges blank regardez la télévision hier. Now this word here, hier, this is one of those words that indicate that you're going to be using the passé composé. Hier means yesterday. So it's saying George watched the television yesterday. Okay? Now, what would go in the blank space here? Right here. How would you conjugate the verb avoir there? First thing we're going to do, we're going to ask ourselves, which pronoun can substitute for George? Okay? If George watched the television, if you weren't using George and you were using a pronoun, George watched the television, you'd say he watched the television. How do we say he in French? That is il. And how do we conjugate the verb avoir with il? It is a. So we'd say Georges a regardé la télévision hier. Georges a regardé la télévision hier. Alright, so conjugation isn't new to us, so let us pick up the slack and go to the next one. So this one says, la semaine dernière, Lucie et moi, blank, ramasser des fruits. Alright, la semaine dernière, this one means, that's right, last week. Okay, so this has a timestamp on it. Once you see a timestamp like this, a definite time period, you know that you're going to be using the passé composé. Alright, la semaine dernière, last week. We can go back into last week by time machine and change what we did. Okay, we already picked up those fruits last week. We can't go back and put them back down. Okay, I hope Lucy and I, we didn't steal them. Okay, so la semaine dernière, Lucy et moi, blank, ramasser des fruits. We need the proper conjugation of the verb avoir in this blank space here. Okay, we need the correct conjugation of the verb avoir. So Lucy et moi, what would go in the blank space here? It would indeed be avons. Lucie et moi, nous avons ramassé des fruits la semaine dernière. Last week, Lucy and I picked up some fruits. Alright? The next one says, Marie et toi, blank, fini le travail de classe. Now here we have fini. Okay? F-I-N-I. Now, based on how we see this past participle appear, we know that it has to be an IR verb, a regular IR verb, because we dropped the IR and added the I, or put the I alone. Okay, So finir, to finish. Marie, you and Marie, vous avez fini le travail de classe. You finished the classwork. Marie et toi avez fini le travail de classe. You and Marie have finished the classwork. Alright? Are you with me? Let's look at one more. Pierre et Jeanne Blanc vendu la voiture. So Pierre and Jean sold the car. The subject of the sentence is Pierre et Jeanne. Now, which pronoun can substitute for Pierre et Jeanne? That would be, yes, plural. So that would be ils, okay? Ils ont vendu la voiture. So Pierre et Jeanne ont vendu la voiture. And we see here that this one has a U. So we know that vendre, well, I just said it. It's an RE verb. Vendre, to sell. So this one must have been an RE verb. We dropped the RE and we added a U. Vous êtes là avec moi? Are you there with me? Okay. Now let's try to put this together. Avoir in the present tense and forming the past participle on our own when we see the verb given. Let's give that a try. On y va. Alright, let's go. So in this segment, we are going to be conjugating the verb AVOIR correctly, and we'll also be inserting the correct past participle. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Okay, on y va. Let's go. So remember, the Passé Composé, it is a composed tense. We're using two verbs, okay? Avoir conjugated in the present tense. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Okay? Avoir in the present tense. And then the other verb, the past participle of the other verb. Alright? Let's give it a go. And we have another reminder, sponsored by yours truly. ER verbs are going to change. You're going to drop the ER and add an E accent aigu. E with the accent aigu, going from left to right upwards. For IR verbs, or regular IR verbs, you're going to drop the IR and you're going to add an I to the end, to the stem. Okay, for regular RE verbs, you're going to drop the RE and add a lovely little U to the stem, okay, like we just did. Now let's go. All right. First sentence, vous, first blank for the avoir, and then the second blank for the verb given here. All right. So what are we doing? We are putting this sentence in the Passé Composé using the verb that is given in brackets. So put this sentence in the Passé Composé using the verb that's given in brackets. So I put that verb in the Passé Composé. By putting that verb in the Passé Composé, what do? Composed tense. So we need avoir in the present tense and the past participle of this verb, perdre, which means to lose. So it says, vous, blank, blank, votre portable. Did you lose your cell phone? Okay, so we have here the verb perdre. We're going to take off the RE, drop the RE, and we're going to add a beautiful little U. And we get perdu. What about avoir? What is it going to be? Okay. Indeed, it would be avez. So you'd say, vous avez perdu votre portable. Est-ce que vous avez perdu votre portable? Did you lose your cell phone? I hope not. Okay? Let's go. That wasn't so bad, was it? I hope not. Let's move on to the next one. Alia blanc blanc tous les fruits. Alia blanc blanc tous les fruits. Alright, so the verb that is given here is manger. It is an ER verb, a regular ER verb at that, and we know that we drop the ER and add an E accent aigu to get the past participle. So we have the past participle of manger down pat. How do we conjugate the verb avoir? Alia ate all of the fruits. How could she be so craven? Alia a mangé tous les fruits. Alia a mangé tous les fruits. Alia ate all the fruits. Easy, right? Facile. Très facile. Oui? Alright, let's go to the next one. And it says, les enfants blanc blanc en château de sable. And the verb that is given is bâtir. Bâtir. And that means to build. Okay? So, les enfants, which means the children, that is correct. Les enfants, blanc for the avoir verb, blanc for the past participle of bâtir. Okay? For the past participle of bâtir. And then it says en château de sable. En château, a castle. De sable, of sand. A sand castle. So let's go. What is it? We drop the IR and we get an I. Bâti, past participle of bâtir. So we say les enfants, ils ont bâti un château de sable. Les enfants ont bâti un château de sable. That was easy, right? Les enfants ont bâti un château de sable. The children built a sand castle. And then Patrick came and destroyed it. Oh my goodness. Rampage. Okay. Final one. So it says, Loïc et moi, blanc, blanc, le prix. Loïc and I, blanc, blanc, le prix. And the verb that we're working with is gagner. Gagner, another easy French verb, ER, gagner. So we drop the ER and we add E accent aigu, right? And we get gagner. Loïc and I won the prize. Did we really win the prize? Let's see. Loïc et moi. That would be which pronoun that could substitute for Loïc et moi? That would be, that's correct, nous. So we'd say Loïc et moi. How do we conjugate the verb avoir with nous? Loïc et moi, nous avons gagné le prix. Nous avons gagné le prix, Loïc et moi. Loïc et moi, nous avons gagné le prix. Et voilà, c'est aussi simple que ça. It is that simple, it's that easy. Okay? So, let's go. So now that we're baby masters of the Passé Composé, right? Practicing activities will follow. Here are some key expressions to note, because when you see these expressions, it should trigger the red flag in your mind. I mean, red flag spells danger, but when you see these expressions, you know that these signal or indicate that the Passé Composé is being used. So for example, hier. Hier means yesterday. Can we go back to yesterday and change what we did? No. Alright? Set time frame. Yesterday's finished and today is a new day. New page. Yesterday's activities are finished. Eating, drinking, the merrymaking, done and over with. Okay? Avant-hier. The day before yesterday. Avant-hier. Okay? That to indicate. If you use that, if you say avant-hier, j'ai lavé la voiture. Avant-hier, j'ai lavé la voiture. The day before yesterday, I washed the car. Alright? Am I gonna wash it today? No, I washed it the day before yesterday. Alright? La semaine dernière. La semaine dernière. Last week. Okay, you can't go back to last week and change what we did last week. Time wasted can never be regained. Alright? Le mois dernier. Le mois dernier. Last month. Same thing. And for example, l'année dernière. L'année dernière. Last year. L'année. Une année. Feminine. You could also say l'an dernier. L''A''N. Un an. Okay? A year. Un an or une année. Same thing. Year. One masculine, one feminine. So, these are some of the expressions that you can use when you're, for example, writing a little recounting of what you did last weekend or last month or last summer. Things like this, okay? L'année dernière, last year. Le mois dernier, pre-COVID. Alright? So, j'espère que ça vous a aidé. I really hope this helped you. Let us put our passé composé construction now into practice. On y va avec confiance en soi. Let's do it. We can do it with confidence in ourselves. Let's go. Bon courage, bonne continuation et à bientôt. Ciao, ciao. Bye.